Charging is one of the biggest inconveniences of owning an EV. It takes more than 8 hours to charge one. But if this has been stopping you from buying that Tesla, we've got good news for you. There's been a breakthrough that will let you charge your car much, much faster. So make sure you stay until the end of the video to learn all about it. First up, EVs can now be charged in 3 minutes? Wait, what? How is that possible? Could you possibly ever think you'd be able to charge not one, not two, but 3 EVs by the time you're done with this video? Neither did we. But surprisingly, super fast charging times might just be around the corner. The US startup Adden Energy has promised after a breakthrough that it has the means to charge a battery within 3 minutes. Adden Energy was founded by scientists at Harvard University who discovered a new type of battery. It's the same good old lithium battery, but it's different because it's a solid-state battery. What is that? We'll get into it soon. Don't worry. This battery can not only be charged within 3 minutes, but it can do so a whopping 10,000 times. That's an approximate lifetime of 20 years. So no, you won't have to worry about replacing your battery within 10 years every time you buy an EV. This news is extremely promising for the car industry, which is planning to switch to EVs en masse over the next decade. The biggest hesitation most customers have are the charging times. So this will take the industry several leaps forward. We mentioned at the start of the video that it could take more than 8 hours for EVs to charge, and it does on most days. But in a rush, you can also use a fast charger. The problem is, it's still pretty slow. Imagine having to wait an hour or two for your car to get charged up when you're on a road trip. What will you even do with all that time? So this solves most of your problems. Up next, how does this even work? The blokes at Harvard have come up with a solid-state battery, as opposed to a lithium one. It's still lithium, but it's vastly different. The difference is that in lithium batteries, the ions move from one side to the other when it's charging. They move through a liquid or a gel electrolyte. Oh, and on a side note, that's why they say don't let your phone get too hot, because this liquid tends to crystallize, which makes it difficult for ions to travel, reducing your battery life. Anyway, a solid-state battery just uses one hard material to transport these particles, so they can be done as quickly as possible. And heating is not something that needs to be worried about. Board member and co-founder of Adden Energy, Xin Li, has stated that this type of battery is ideal for EVs. He stated that if you want to electrify vehicles, a solid-state battery is the way to go. He stated that his team is planning to commercialize this technology because it's unique compared to all new batteries. He further stated that his batteries have achieved 5,000 to 10,000 charge cycles, which is mighty impressive considering that the best in class right now is around 2,000 to 3,000 cycles. Right now, Mr. Lee and his team are working on a lab scale, which is practically the size of a coin. We know. Doesn't sound too promising, but within 3 to 5 years, they expect to have a full-size battery. And honestly, after doing our own research on this does sound like a promising tech. So fingers crossed, folks. Moving on, who will this benefit? In short, everybody, especially our planet, because this will make EVs a lot more attractive than ICE cars. But this news comes as a huge welcome relief to many prospective EV buyers who don't have charging stations in their home for whatever reasons, or folks who don't own their homes and aren't allowed to install a charger. The US-based startup's CEO William Fitzhugh has stated that a sizable number of people in the United States don't have a place to charge their cars at home, and that number in Australia is also quite significant. He stressed the impact of this technology on climate change, stating, "Complete electrification of the vehicle fleet is one of the most meaningful steps we can take to fight climate change." He further stated that the broad adoption of EVs will require batteries that can meet a diverse set of consumer needs. For example, close to 40% of Americans don't have garages in their homes. How will these folks get an EV? Now, you don't really expect them to go to the charging station and sit for hours every 2 to 3 days, do you? To electrify this segment, EVs need to recharge at times that are comparable to the times of an internal combustion engine vehicle. 3 minutes is essentially the amount of time you might end up spending at the gas pump anyway. On top of that, in countries where single-family homes aren't as common as in the United States, such as some of the European states, this technology is desperately needed. Let's just hope they work it out. Lastly, what are the fastest times being offered right now? There's no doubt about the fact that even right now, we do have some darn fast charging being offered, but at the same time, Let's not forget that this isn't feasible. With the current technology that we have, you can't just fast charge your car every time you charge it. You have to let it charge slowly at night and then use the faster option during the emergencies and road trips. As of right now, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is one of the fastest charging EVs on the market. It's all thanks to its 800-volt charger compatibility, which means it can charge between 10 and 80% in about 18 minutes. This is made possible by using a super-fast 350 kilowatt DC charger. But there's a catch. These 350 kilowatt chargers are rare in America. And in Australia, they're super rare. Down under, the fastest charger you're more than likely to find is 50 kilowatts. Using that particular one, even if you do own the Ioniq 5, it'll take you about an hour or more to charge between 10 to 80%. So no, you can't go on a road trip without allocating a significant amount of time for charging. A home wall unit, which is often around 11 kilowatts, would take more than 6 hours to charge the Ioniq 5 between 10 to 80%. And that's if you have a home charger, because it's fine to plug it in and sleep, but you wouldn't want to wait around that long in a station. And that's the problem with charging right now. And that's why this battery breakthrough is so important. This solid-state battery could solve a huge chunk of our future problems. All right, that's that for this new exciting tech. Before we end this video, we'd like to take a couple of minutes to talk about some other really interesting things happening in the world of EVs. Oh, and subscribe for more awesome videos just like this. First of all, Toyota doubles down on EVs. Toyota makes some good, solid, reliable cars. And they also happen to be one of the first folks to sell hybrids mainstream. But all of a sudden, they've gotten lazy when it comes to EVs. Maybe they didn't believe in the tech, or maybe they didn't have the capacity. But wait, that's not possible. It's literally one of the most profitable companies in the world. Amidst all this criticism, Toyota's CEO has doubled down on the company's EV strategy. Now he's announced that Toyota plans to invest around $70 billion in EVs. And this includes the $35 billion set aside for all electric battery technologies over 9 years. It's about time. What's more, Australia's government is scrambling to make EVs more affordable. While the world moves to get rid of ICE cars, Australia seems to have stayed behind. The EV sales in the country just aren't strong enough. But with emissions targets looming, the federal government wants to speed things up, and it's exploring options to make green cars a lot more affordable. The climate change and energy minister has stated that he wants Australians of all wealth and incomes to be able to get an EV. The two ways they plan to fix this problem are to firstly have stricter emission standards so car makers don't keep dumping their ICE cars on the continent, and secondly, to rely on China for cheap cars. Current American and European EVs are quite expensive and won't help fix the problem. But by working with China, the government can ensure everyone has a cheap EV in their garage. Finishing up, Europe wants to copy the US. The United States must be doing something right because EVs there are selling like hotcakes. The country has one of the fastest EV adoption rates we've seen. And just as the US government provides subsidies to EV buyers and manufacturers, France thinks Europe should be doing the same to encourage the sale. According to the French finance minister, Bruno Le Maire, it's high time to reserve electric vehicle bonuses, either for cars produced on European territory or for cars that meet all the regulations. Do you think that'll work? And that's a wrap for this video. Do you think this company can make good on its promise? Or is it another tech company making huge claims to secure funding? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you at the next one.